Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana, in studio.
In studio, it's been a bit.
It's been a bit.
It's been a few weeks since we recorded in studio.
It's good to be home.
I know. The energy is just, it's there. It's totally different.
Right.
How's life?
Everything's okay. I got my bearded look.
Yeah.
I feel like it's that transition from I've been a wild animal all of December to I need to get my life together 2 weeks of January.
Right.
I
I like the, what do you call this?
This schwacket.
Is that what you call it?
I don't know. I went into,
I like it.
thank you. This is an okay
You have
look.
a couple colors?
I
Is
should have
there a
gotten
red
more.
one?
There was, no, I have different schwack. I've been in the schwacket game.
Okay.
I
If
think
you're a Schwacket sponsor,
Right, get in here.
Just listen. Yeah.
Like, right, you got this is Abercrombie, which
they're back.
they're back.
I just watched that White Hot Abercrombie documentary.
Very
entertaining.
where they're just awful, right?
Yeah. Well, the interesting, I think the most interesting thing about that documentary that I didn't know, because most of it's pretty obvious. Yeah. Like,
Right.
They're into just promoting like attractive, like chiseled white people as like their like idea for like American perfection.
Okay.
Sure. That's like something we all kind of already knew about them.
Right.
Right.
Right. It was on the bags.
Right.
It was on they had models outside of their stores. Yeah.
What I didn't know about it, which you learn in the documentary, is a lot about these about the gay undertones of the entire thing and how it was like sort of like how that was a big part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, there was like it was like a lot to do with like the photo shoots and like the CEO. This was like his the whole branding thing was like his idea, and then the photographer would like basically just fly out these like young men, like these young all-American men, and like have them like wrestle with each other, and like but the CEO was gay, and then they were saying that like the photographer like may have like been like sexually harassing a lot of these men.
Oy.
And like the whole thing was sort of like set up so that in
To
like some
service the CEO?
as like a sort of like a dream of like a homoerotic vision.
Interesting. So it was like, oh, so it was
That was like the thought behind it. It was obviously like not like
Ah.
portrayed explicitly as like it was explicitly
Yeah.
sort of seen as like a like heterosexual dream.
Right, I don't think the people in Ohio knew
No,
that
that's
this
the whole.
was the
That's
case.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The whole thing is like very, and the guy was like not. He was very like private about his personal life, but like that was sort of like the behind the scenes.
This was a little bit of a
thing
kink to
going
be
on.
able to create an imaginary world
Right.
where this
where all the men look like this.
interesting. Well, it's interesting to me that like all is forgiven if they make a good fitting jean.
I mean,
Right, no one cares anymore that Abercrombie was this evil company.
You don't.
I don't.
I don't.
Listen, I'm a medium.
Right. Well,
You know how happy I am. This is a medium.
well, that guy's
It's
out.
like everything's forgotten.
That guy's out. But yeah, they had like all these like racist allegations against them and all
Really?
this other stuff because they like they would say to people like basically that they wouldn't hire them like literally because they're black.
Oy. I mean,
So like, and they got like a class action lawsuit. So then they changed the CEO, and the new person's like very much, I think, like running a normal company.
I would hope so. I just said I'm wearing the
Yeah.
clothes now. Well, I did go. Basically, I was in Dallas, Texas. I was across the street from a mall. I packed like an idiot because I was in San Diego for shows. Then I went to Boca where we taped from last week, and then I went to Houston. The Houston show, unbelievable. The Dallas shows, thank you all for coming. Great shows. But I was across from a mall, and I packed from Boca to go to Texas. Like I packed like an idiot. I don't know what came over me that like I just didn't pack right. So I had
that
like
happens sometimes,
Right, you,
Especially,
like-
I feel like when you travel a lot, you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I was just gonna throw anything in the bag.
exactly. Plus, like my parents' house, like I keep stuff there. So like
Right.
I had all socks, no underwear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like something like that. And I had like t-shirts, no overshirt. So I went, walked around a mall. It has been so long since I've been in like a bustling mall.
Yeah, the mall is like not really. Speaking of Abercrombie, not
Right.
really like a hot spot.
Not in
Anymore.
Dallas. That Galleria Mall was popping
So you got this in a physical Abercrombie store.
in a physical store.
Does it
like
still
like it was 1999 all over again.
Does it still smell like
Right. They
whatever
still
it was?
no, the cologne smell wasn't as much as it used to be.
Right.
And then I went into a hat store, and this is how I know I'm 35 and single. You know, you go and you go to, now I'm embroidering things. I'm putting my logo.
Oh wow.
I
Cool.
went into a Lids.
It's a train.
So I put
If you're on YouTube,
if you're on YouTube, you can see I put a little J train on my hat.
Wow, cute.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
This is what happens when you have no kids and no wife. You spend money on stupid things like this. Like this is where your life goes.
Maybe you'll have a son, and that can be like his thing.
That can be his thing. I can pass it on.
If you name him a J name.
Gotta get Johnny.
Johnny
Train.
Freed.
Johnny Freed.
Johnny Train Freed. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Lids and I got this. I was trying on.
How'd they make it right there?
I go. I'll take this hat because I like the champion. It was black. I was wearing an all black, outfit. I was like, oh, go with
Right.
the whole thing. And then they go, you want an embroider? I was like, no, what? And I was like, what are you talking about? They pointed at they have this whole section, and you can put anything you want
it's
on
like
the hat.
It's like the T-shirt store in Jersey Shore.
That was me. I'm just that. And I go, and I literally looked at that guy. I go, well, do you have any trains? I felt like
It's
such
this
a
is
loser.
an odd combination.
Right. I was like, can you put a J train? They're like, we can do whatever you want. Yeah. There's four different
you
types
a
of
big penis
trains.
on it if you want. They would do.
Then I'd have other issues. Yeah. So I got the J train on the side of the champion
I
hat,
like it.
made
I
it
bet
my
people
own.
would buy that, I'm sure.
Maybe. Listen, to the right price,
Yeah.
I can get you involved. But
I love it.
So what's going on with you? How you been?
I'm good. I'm going to Palm Beach this weekend with a few of my friends.
What is let's get out of here? A few friends?
Yeah, few friends. It's fun. I'm going with a few of my friends that are moms, and I think that there's this mom breaking point of like, I've got to get the fuck out of here.
Interesting. Yes. I've heard that. Yeah.
But we're also at the stage where all of the bachelorettes are done.
Right.
So there's no built-in thing. So now you got to make your own bachelorette.
You got to figure out a way. I like this. And this is a good message to the people out there. Take the trip. Do something.
Get out of there.
Get a crew together. And I think what holds you up, like who's involved, who's not involved, who has
Right.
the ability, to take, whose husband is able enough to handle.
Well, that's a whole other thing. Is the husband's taking care of the kids? Is like it's so funny because I feel like that's such a weird it's still kind of a thing where like they can't be left alone. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I guess there's three sides to every story,
Yeah.
as we've said on this show many times. But there's probably like her not trusting him to be able to do it.
Yeah.
He probably is able, but maybe he's not able. There's somewhere in the middle this truth lies. Like, are you just an over anxious person, or is this person just not able to do these things as a dad?
Right.
And you would hope.
Well, it's kind of like the best way to figure out how to do something is to do it.
Right. Jump in the fire.
It's not to just never do it.
Right.
But yeah, so that's where we're going.
So going to Palm Beach,
Yeah.
we'll sit at the beach, and it's the best time of year to go there. It's like nice, and you'll have a good time. That's a great time.
that's my hope. I'm excited.
You're gonna have a great time.
What about you? What do you?
I'm around. I'm here until Toronto. The shows in Toronto sold out, so that's I
Amazing.
feel great about that. I'm here in New York doing shows from now until then, and just kind of chilling. I've been
When is Toronto?
I'm leaving the 19th. The shows are the 20th and the 21st.
So you're
I'm here for a minute.
That's like a long time for you to be here.
It is a long time. Like, I do feel the need to chill right now. Like, I got back from all this traveling, and
Right.
and there is a lot of open tabs. It feels like, because I was on these apps, so much. I guess personally, I don't know how relatable this is, but if you go, I think it's somewhat relatable, especially to our first email. The idea that holiday season, you got a lot of excuses.
Yeah.
You go on the apps, you talk to a bunch of people. I probably talked to every single one of our listeners on the dating app over the last month or so.
Yeah.
I'm on there. I even re-entered Raya for some unknown reason.
Why not?
Why not? Kanahara. So I'm I'm talking to all these people, and then I'm I have this out of I'm gone till the 9th, which
Now you're back 10 days.
now I'm back, and I'm I got 10
Do it all.
days to do
Your nose is waxed. You're ready to go.
that nose waxing.
You know what? I appreciated that normalizing the nose waxing.
So,
because here's my personal experience with that is that Mike gets those hairs,
yes,
right? And so I tweeze them on his behalf, and then finally he was like, "This is too painful. I'm getting a trimmer."
Yeah, there's other ways. I'm just imagining this is very much a couple moment
we'll
where
be about to go out, and I'll be like, "No, I don't like that." And then
you can
he's
see
like,
them
I really
curling out from
Yes.
under like this part of the nose during the
Yes.
corner of the nose. It's not a good look.
I agree. That's why I'm kind of like, we're not going out like this,
Right.
But
we are
we're
not going out with you looking like this.
right.
Yeah.
So I get in there, and then I think he finally got tired of it, and he's now controlling it on his own. But I
Right.
appreciate the normalization of the nose hair wax.
We're going to get to this later in the episode because somehow all of this just relates to everything that's going on in my life right now. I go and get manicures, pedicures regularly.
I love that.
It is actually a family activity that my parents and my brother and I, we always do it. Whenever we're bored or nothing to do, let's get pedicures. Let's go.
Love it.
And so this is something I've done like pretty much a good portion of my life. We've done this. Like it was never thought of as like weird or not a manly. My dad gets manicures he's weekly. Like I think like, and my uncle too. Like everyone was just in. It was never thought of.
I want a spa day with the Freeds.
It's loud. It's not very relaxing. We walk in, it's like a parade float walked in. So we've done this so much. So, it's interesting because like, so what happened was there's a video on my Instagram. If you go look on my Instagram, I posted of me getting my nose waxed. The way that happened was I met some people in Dallas and one of the people I met, they were like, "Do you want to go get a pedicure tomorrow?" Because they
With
saw
you.
Right. And they saw because I had posted. So now when I go on the road, it's something to do that's not eating or drinking. That's why for me, it's like a really good thing. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I'm
like
good
your
at
AA meeting.
This is my.
If you feel like you want to eat,
If I want to
your
eat,
sponsor.
I call my spa. Call my local.
Spas.
So what I do is on the road, if I'm on the road, so I put up a video from San Diego of me going to a spa to get my pedicure. And they walk, and I never know what to pick.
Yeah.
Like what, they give
So
you a
always get
menu
taken
item.
for a ride. Yeah.
You're always taken for a ride. And then there's a language barrier. So they're like, "Do you want the pedicure?" And you go, "Yeah." And then they go, "Lilac?" And you go, "Yeah." Because you're a little embarrassed.
You should say, "Can I see the menu?"
Even the menu's confusing. Because I'm like, I don't understand. Just pedicure.
Well, they have the prices on there.
Right. Well, this place didn't have the price. They
You
go,
just
"Do
say
you
regular."
just repeat regular. Like
Yeah.
it's like when you call customer service.
I always get upsold.
Representative.
I always get upsold.
I'm always upsold.
But I'm kind of like, I'm there. Yeah, I'll take the 10-minute foot massage.
That's the thing. It's like of course.
Yes.
So there's the language barrier. And then there's the shame of like, who am I to get my feet touched? So you're just like giving me everything.
No, I agree. Yeah, it feels weird.
There's a shame factor. And
100%.
I think they kind of play off that. So I point at whatever, and this woman comes out with a literal charcuterie board of flowers and candles. And I was like, what the fuck am I in for? Like at this point, I'm paying rent.
You like to be pampered.
Right. So I posted that video. So then this person who I like met after the show, I met them and their friends. They're like, "I'm going to get a pedicure. You want to go get a pedicure?" I was like, "I'm down."
I love that.
So I go with someone who's, was at the show. We go and they have a place that they go to. So I walk in and I go to meet them, and then there's a chair open, and then next to the chair is another person who goes, "Oh my God." And I go, and I look at them, they go, "Jared?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "I love the podcast. We tried to go to your show. It's sold out." I go, "Nice to meet you." We take a picture, take a selfie. Then I sit down and get the pedicure with the person that got me the appointment. The person at the place picked up on all this.
Okay.
The guy working there, he comes over, he starts taping me for their like social media.
He thinks you're famous.
He thinks I'm famous.
I'm not that you're not.
No, I am not not famous enough to help his business.
Okay.
So he starts taping me, and I look at the person I'm there with, I go, "I think he's taping me for their like Instagram." And they're like, "Yeah, that was weird. I've never seen anything like that." And then I get up, and the guy comes over to me, he goes, "We want to give you a nose wax." And I go,
Wow.
That's
so insulting.
Right. I go, "Do I need it?" It's like someone offering you gum. You
Right.
go, Does my breast stink?
No, that happens all the now. I feel like this episode. I mean, we're really getting a taste of you finding out what it's like to be a woman. Where you go and you get your eyebrows waxed, and they're like, "Do you want the lip too?" And I'm like, and you're like, "What?"
Right. I was insulted. Do I have like a nose? So then, and I have gotten my nose
also
waxed.
like kind of the smallest area. I mean, if they're gonna comp you something, you would imagine it would be like the leg,
Right.
I don't know, the
How
chest.
about 10-minute massage?
Right.
Right, I'll take how about a rub down, you know? So he goes, and I've gotten my nose waxed before. So I've at European
Wax Center.
Wax Center.
That's a proud sponsor of the UA podcast.
Exactly, which I am a big fan of. But I have also gotten waxes, and the reason I like European Wax Center is because it's all consistent. You know what you're getting. I don't even know if they still sponsor, but I'm still speaking their praises.
They're great.
They can come back anytime. Yeah. So your money's good here, European Wax Center. So he takes me to this back room, and he starts putting the sticks in my nose, and I'm like, this will be fun to tape, whatever. And I just taped it and had a fun ride with it. The comments on you need those hairs in your nose and you're gonna get someone messaged me, they're like, they start scaring the shit out of you. And
you're going to get diseases from the
ingrowns.
right, because it ventilates the whatever.
And it's like, just fuck off. I don't care. I've done this already.
Right.
You're not teaching me anything. I'm 37 years old. I'll learn on my own. Just like having the kids stay with me. You know, if you leave if your friend's leaving the baby with the husband, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They don't want to murder a baby.
Also, if you want advice,
I'll ask for it.
Right.
The comments were wild. I was like, oh, you need those nose hairs. And it's like, no, I've done this before, first of all.
But a
and
good
it's
thing
been
I
fine.
saved them. Just put them right back.
Put them in my pocket.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Anyway, that was great. I enjoyed the video. It was almost it was very entertaining.
It was very satisfying. My biggest issue at European Wax Center is they never show you what came off of you. I like that the guy showed me. I want to see what's coming out of my nose.
If our sponsor, European Wax Center, is listening,
right
now, you know people want to see the strips.
Yeah,
I guess.
Give me the sticks that were up my nose to take home with me as a souvenir.
Exactly.
Right.
That could be worth a lot one day.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm that famous.
Exactly. And so yeah, you've got Toronto coming. Sold out.
Sold out.
Anywhere
shit out
else?
of luck, Toronto. If you want to get a pedicure with me in Toronto, I'll be there. I'm coming to Vegas.
Great.
And also, if you're listening today, the European tour has been released.
Solidified. Amazing.
It's done. So I'm coming to Europe. People have been asking where are the tickets. JaredFreed.com. I'm coming to Europe. I'm going to the whole kit and caboodle.
Amazing. Euro trip with J-Train.
That's
love it.
right. Get on
I
the
just had
train.
a visual of you playing with J-Trains with your son and getting pedicures with your daughter.
Wow,
and,
you really went
you know,
in a touching direction.
Yeah, I really just, I had the whole visual.
That could
and
be.
If you are an oversharing fan, or if you're not an oversharing fan yet, Jared is going to be on the podcast, which will be out by the time it'll be out Tuesday after this comes out.
I'm a listener. I'm afraid of what's coming.
I'm very excited.
I've never done anything like that, so.
It's going to be, we haven't recorded it yet. It's going to be great.
I totally forgot. I was in Dallas. I didn't ask if the whole family was out there.
Oh, that's okay. We sent them all last time.
I know.
But you got new stuff. I should have sent them again.
Well, it's okay. The shows were fun.
Yeah, I could have sent my family to get a pedicure.
We all could have gone.
In case you felt homesick.
Just in case. I did go to another spa that was really good. Now I'm getting like invitations to go to spa. This is a good, smart move by me.
I'm jealous. I need to start posting getting my nose hairs waxed
right.
so that I can get
some
free spa appointments.
Well,
I am a spa enthusiast. I've gotten a massage at every fancy spa in New York City.
Really?
I love a massage. Yeah.
It's so nice. It is, and it's one of those things where we're not confident enough to just like talk about it openly. I think that's part of the problem. Is like when you go to like a spa day, there's always someone like, "Ooh, must be nice." It's like, shut the fuck up. Let us have our thing, and let us enjoy. I went to Victoria's or Vivian's in Dallas. They gave me an hour and a half.
Massage?
Yeah.
That's a long massage.
So it's called Vivian's Boutique Spa, and it was just a beautiful place. That's where I got the massage. If you're in the Dallas area, small business, support these people. Vivian's Dallas, and then people have
And
already
the massage was good?
great massage, and great waiting room. They're offering mimosas and drinks.
That's how it needs to be done. Then it's like a real
It was like
day.
Right. It was a total day, and just the comfort level was.
If we go on the road again this year, I know what to do.
Now we know
what to do
now
all
we got
day.
a plan.
That's where you'll find us.
That's what we'll do. Our
I
meet
love
and
a
greet.
spa day. Yeah. We'll do during the massage.
Approach as
Yes.
we both have our nails being done. Nice to meet you. Let's do the show.
Let's do the show. Also, again, like I said, Jared's going to be on coming Tuesday's episode of Oversharing. It will be the first half will be on the U Up feed. So if you listen to the first half and you like it, go finish the episode on Oversharing.
It has become my Tuesday ritual. It
that.
is a. I would say this podcast is probably like a little bit of heavy metal. Like we're loud and
We're a little more playful. This is a little less playful, a little more serious, but also like relaxed.
It does feel like I've lit a candle
That's the idea.
and hung out with the Abrahams. Skolnick.
Bernstein. What is her
Bernstein.
name? I don't know. There's a lot of last names in my family.
Jay and Jordana and Naomi. It feels
Yes.
like we've gone into we're sitting there for a chit chat. There's always an email where I'm like, I have an opinion. There's always one where I'm like screaming. So that's why
Love that.
I love it. So
and yeah, so do you want to? We'll do some triggers with you. Then.
I love the
That's your
triggers.
favorite
Yeah,
segment,
that
right?
is. I love that segment because there was one where I was like, this chick sounds like an asshole.
About the ring.
What was
The
it?
same ring. Her friend got the same ring as her.
No, there was another one where I was like, I couldn't not like this person anymore.
Well, that's exactly what a therapist would say.
Shut up, you bitch.
And on that note,
Let's get right into it.
Let's jump right in.
Let's jump right
Okay.
in 2 hours later.
All right. Hi, J&J. Happy New Year, and thanks for consistently pumping out my favorite content of the week. I, like many others, have set a goal to date more consistently in 2023. I took a break from the apps in 2022, so I haven't been on, that's last week. So I haven't been on there.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
I haven't been on there in about 4 months. As you may know, Hinge hides conversations that haven't been active in 14 days, but these convos can be revived and brought back into your main chat section if someone sends a new message. I recently revved up my old profile and took a peek into my hidden folder and found that it was a gold mine of seemingly great guys. Granted, some of them had left me on read, I don't know how you say that. But there were a fair number of guys who had stopped responding to at some point, who I had stopped responding to at some point in the conversation.
No, sorry to interrupt. I read it as left unread
Read.
as well.
I think that's how it's done.
Left unread just sounds weird.
You're right. It's read.
Maddie, our Gen Z
Left me on
correspondence, read or
Or left
read?
me on read.
Oh, I have a mic now.
This was asked for
Yes.
from the audience. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Give Maddie a mic.
Hi.
Right.
Nice to be here. I say left on red
Okay.
because that's the past tense.
Okay.
You read it, so that makes sense to me.
Jorge, do you have an opinion on this?
It's left on red.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So we all agree. Okay.
Consensus.
Left on red, but there were a fair number of guys who I had stopped responding to at some point in the conversation. My question, can these connections be resuscitated? Is it weird to pop out of the woodwork over 4 months later and say what's up? Is it giving desperate? What would you say? Acknowledge the situation? I'm a 30-year-old female in a mid-sized Midwestern city, swiping through the app's fresh options. They are mostly the same guys I've been seeing on there for the last several years, hence why I'm considering diving into my hidden archive. I feel like there's a group of solid guys in that folder that I totally slept on. Not to be dramatic, but what if my future husband's in there? Love, you snooze, you lose.
I love this email.
I like
as
this
much
email
as I
too.
didn't like the one I can't remember. I love their attitude. This is exactly the mindset you should have as a single person. This is the mindset I have.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Right.
You never know. No harm, no foul.
When it comes to dating app message, like people
Right.
on dating apps that you have not met yet, you don't owe anything to.
Nothing.
Nothing at all. I don't believe you can be ghosted on a dating app.
Absolutely not. And I'm happy you're saying that. Makes me relieved of a lot of guilt that because
You could only. I'm making this that you can only be ghosted via a text message.
I agree. Or and even right, you have to have smelled the person.
You have to have got right. You have to have seen them in real life.
Right. And this person's attitude is 100% correct. I actually read this email last night when I was like, doing my prep, my hours of preparation I do for this show. And I went to my hidden convos
Is your
on
wife
Hinge.
in there?
Maybe she is.
Maybe she is.
180 hidden conversations.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I went back and messaged one based on this email just to test it out. I was like, let me... I'm not trying to make these people my pawns in my dating escapades, but I was like, go back and take a look. Who kind of, and I think what this person's saying.
Did you re-message anyone?
I did.
There you go.
They wrote back already. I just wrote, how was the new year?
How did you do it? Yeah.
Hey, how was it?
Oh, hold on. Give us the last thing that happened so we can also get some context.
Last thing that happened, we had.
And when?
So December 12th, started the chat. They wrote back. We talked from December 12th until the 17th.
Okay.
So that's a lot of talk, chit chat with no plan.
Okay.
Also, this is the holiday season. Again, no harm, no foul. No, just like you said, like this is in app
No one
land.
owes that anyone anything.
No one owes anyone anything.
Right.
I believe that. If you're offended by that, I'm sorry. We just disagree. And this to me is the equivalent of meeting in a bar. If you met someone in a bar, you started talking, and you just like turned to your friends and stop talking, you would be like, well, yeah. So
you don't owe them anything.
Nothing.
They don't owe you anything.
So I asked, we get to talk about Boca a little bit. I don't know how that even came up, or maybe I was down there already, or I was explaining my travels.
Okay.
And they're like, I've been there. And I said, and I was like, why were you there? They went for work. I was like, that's a different reason to go there.
I mean,
Usually
what was the end of the conversation?
just kind of fizzled.
Okay.
And it was just like,
did someone ask a question that the other person didn't respond to?
I just wrote, that's a very different reason to go to Boca. They wrote, indeed, but it was still peak Boca. We're having a fun conversation.
Right.
So then yesterday I wrote, hey, how was the new year? Totally.
Right.
I don't even think you have to apologize. I don't think you have to if they ask for, hey, where'd you go? Well, you can give things got busy, kind of got off the apps. There's an easy way to respond. I think someone saying, hey, where'd you go is a fine question. That's it's a little bit.
Well, I think if they had been like, so what are you up to this weekend? And then you didn't answer, which again, I don't think is the worst thing either. I think that's kind of totally fine on there too.
Right.
But if they had said that and you didn't answer and then you came back a month later, I could see them being. I wouldn't think it was crazy if they were like, "Oh, where'd you go?"
Right, and I wouldn't think if it was crazy if someone was like, "Took a break."
Yeah, that would also be fine. Yeah.
Took a break from the apps.
I wouldn't be angry at them. I'd just be like, "Oh, you're back."
Absolutely, and I think with this person's attitude should be everyone's attitude. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got all these hidden people. They're people that I was attracted to. They're people that were attracted to me. Why wouldn't I go back to them? And I think. The only thing I think of when I hear this is just, don't, I think the biggest thing with these retreads is it's okay to let go, but don't forget.
That they disappeared?
That this didn't work out the first time. Hinge, a match on a dating app is an acknowledgement that we're attracted.
Right.
That's it. We don't know how much that attraction is. We don't know if the conversation isn't something that got them to leave the house. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it was the conversation, or what you're doing is going back to someone that at a baseline we were attracted to each other.
Yeah.
So I think for them it's hey, let's do drinks this week. And if they're well, and if they get you're oh, this is why that happened. It wasn't, there's a spectrum of reasons to not go on, leave the dating app. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the spectrum goes from
this person was annoying.
Right.
I didn't want to speak to them. To, I'm not sure. And I got distracted. And then I got distracted, or I just kind of stopped using the app.
You move down the page.
Right.
I was saying this the other day, with Twitter, if someone writes something back to me shitty on Twitter, the minute it leaves the screen, I forget about it. The minute it's not on that first screen on the mention page.
Right.
It's so weird how quickly that leaves my brain.
Yeah.
But when I see it, it's in front of me. It's staring at me. And sometimes that happens on the dating apps. You're the one that's just at the top scroll of the page. And I know this sounds maybe small, or it sounds stupid, but I really do believe some people just move down the page and you just forget. Because it's a
Right.
dating app person. It's someone you met in a bar.
Well, this is almost like the best part about dating apps. Like the worst part about dating apps is that nothing really means anything, and the best part of dating apps is that nothing really means anything.
Right.
Because like the worst part of it is that like, yeah, there's a million other people that the person you're talking to could be talking to, and they have a bunch of options, and so maybe you feel kind of disposable. The best part is that there's a million other options out there for you. So just going back to someone you spoke to a while ago, and then speaking to them again. You're not that invested in them. If they say no, it's not a big deal. Like that's
Right.
the disposable part is like also a great part in this context.
Well, I do it with jokes sometimes. If I'm like looking for new material, if I want to do a new joke, I will like just go back to like my Instagram where tweets I've posted. And I'm like, those are my jokes.
Right.
Those are jokes that
which ones
people
did well?
liked. Which ones did well? Let's bring back one of those from 2 years ago, a tweet that I did. Let's try and do that on stage. And I think this is like the dating equivalent of like, we had a
Right.
match.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't I go back and talk to them? And this person wrote back right away, no harm, no foul. I just love their attitude. I think this is like, to me, this is the way to go into a new year of like having the dating intention, right?
Yeah. Because it's, again, you're having fun with it.
Right.
Hey, what's up? Again, like not thinking of any one of these people that intensely yet because you haven't met them, but also saying, because I haven't met them, I can just reach out.
Right. New year, new us.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
what's happening?
And anyone who gets mad about that is like, that's good too. 'Cause
Good to
then
know.
You're like, okay, great. They go back in the
Right.
back in the old pile.
Well, maybe instead of hidden, they're blocked.
Yeah.
Good to know. Like I mean, I didn't know that about Hinge. I didn't know like after a certain amount of time they go straight to hidden.
I didn't know that either. But
So
yeah.
I mean, it's good to
Yeah.
know it's not because sometimes
Well, now you went back in and
went back
maybe your
in.
wife's in there.
Maybe my wife is waiting for me.
Are you my wife?
Are you? Maybe Boca worked.
Did she
woman.
answer? Let's see.
She did answer.
She did.
Hey, all good and back at it. How are you doing? It's like we're in day one.
There you go.
How am I doing? Just taping a podcast talking about you to all my listeners.
Maybe you should go out. Maybe she's the one.
Maybe this is it. Let's do some awkward sex. You ready?
We'll see.
UUP@betches.com, UUP@betches.com. Keep sending in your awkward sex. Maddie, we're getting a lot of awkward sex sent in. You got the mic. I was just trying.
Sorry, a lot of pressure.
I
Yes.
want to make sure we work on this.
Yes.
Lots of awkward sex.
Lots of awkward
Doing good
sex. Okay, good. Ready? Hey, J&J. I just want to start by saying how amazing you guys are. Wow, what a way to start a Wednesday.
Love it.
Nothing beats a morning commute with a cup of coffee and the You Up pod. I have a semi-recent super awkward sex story that I've been dying to share with you guys and all the fans.
Ooh.
Okay. Short background. I met this attractive guy at a local bar over the summer. He followed me outside. Okay. As I was getting some air, and we simply hit it off. Though his friends were leaving shortly after talking, we exchanged numbers and wound up hanging at the beach the next day. Nothing romantically ever happened, not even a kiss. We didn't even talk again until 3 months later when he randomly reached out to see how I was doing. It turned into a heated sexual banter, and he asked if I wanted to come over one night, single as fuck with a strong desire to fulfill my womanly needs. I decided to go for it. We planned for a Thursday night hangout at his place, and knowing I had a busy day, I packed a clean, sexy pair of underwear that I casually carried in my purse. Is that something
Yeah.
you
That's
just
something
throw it in the
that's-
purse?
That's you want like a fresh. I can see that.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary, but I can see why one would want to feel like their freshest self. If you can't like shower, I can see why you'd be like, I'm gonna change my underwear.
Right. Much like the limp plumping, kind of the cherry on
Yes.
top. Okay. That's a reference to the sponsor today.
A man would never think to do that.
No, my underwear's been on me for 6 months. I drove up to Hoboken. Yes, Jared, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, fucking disgusting. I kid Hoboken. I had someone message me, enough with the Hoboken. These are jokes, people.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
tell him to stop, he wants to do it more.
Even more. I won't go to your disgusting hellhole of a town.
Have you ever actually been?
Of course. I've hung out there millions of times. Texas, Arizona, fuck yeah, it's a great time. And I drove up to Hoboken and found a parking garage close to his place. Here's what I love about this awkward sex story. It keeps getting less and less romantic as it goes.
Yes.
Like she's like, pack the
it gets
sexy
worse.
pair of underwear. It keeps getting, so be prepared, listeners, because I just the idea of
We're
like,
past the peak of hope for the state.
it's gone.
Yes.
Hope is gone.
Right. Hope started fading after she switched the underwear.
Right. I've like just the idea of like, gonna go get that sexy time. And then it's like, went to the parking garage.
Parallel parks.
Right.
Was searching around for a car.
Searching for a parking spot is the least sexy. You don't see that in the movie.
No.
I drove up to Hoboken and found a parking garage close to his place. As I drove in, I realized it was closed. So I backed up and pivoted the car, crashing into a small concrete wall.
God.
Looking back, I should have just turned around and immediately went home. Thankfully, no serious damage, but it left me shook.
I'm trying to think if I think at that point I would still go on the date.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your libido is pushing you at this point.
Especially if you were like excited for the date. If you weren't into the date, great excuse to get out of there.
Absolutely. But there is a point where it's like your horniness is dragging you through because she's like, I'm
already
meeting
there.
this guy to fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Thankfully, no serious damage, but it left me shook. After sitting in my car for about 10 minutes trying to shake off what just happened. I mean, getting in an accident, you do have to shake it. It's the worst.
Well, because you're just like, oh, now that just cost me $2,000.
And time.
Right.
Yes, you're absolutely
And there's a
right.
whole thing that I'm going to have to deal with and pay for.
Right. This is something I didn't have to deal with. Now I have to deal with.
That's anything related to a car. Getting a ticket,
Oy.
getting a scratch,
Right.
getting anything. You're just like, I could have just not.
I could have just not. You're absolutely, that's exactly what I think. I finally find parking and arrived at his place. He opened the door and out comes this 5-pound dog attacking my legs. He told me to quickly come inside, and as I hurried in, I tripped over the dog and my purse went flying across the room. Out goes my fresh undies, and the dog quickly snatches the underwear and runs off with it. The guy tried retrieving the underwear from his little mouth and winds up ripping them. It was a matching set, and I was a little upset, but nowhere near the worst to come. After about an hour, we finally make it to the bedroom and have sex. As we are in a sideways lying position going at it, the dog runs into the room, jumps on the bed, and starts licking and biting my nipple.
Oh my God.
Somewhat turned on. Okay. Yet horrified at the same time. I went to go push the dog away. With great force, the guy pushes the dog off the bed, and I hear it squeal as it lands on the hardwood floor. I attempted to move towards the edge of the bed to make sure the poor dog was okay, but the guy pulls me back and quickly finishes the job. This guy's an animal.
Seriously. This is a bad day.
Bad day. I mean, the dog jumping on the bed. Yip, 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 yip. A little 5-pound dog.
Biting your nipple? That sounds extremely painful.
Right. Turned on.
I mean,
He pulled out and I hear, uh-oh, thinking, what the fuck now? He told me the condom vanished and I assumed there was only one place it could be. I went fishing and took out my Nuva ring with the condom wrapped around it. I quickly tried heading to the bathroom, tripping over this damn dog again and falling on my hands and knees. This dog is everywhere. Completely naked on all fours. With the Nuva ring in hand, I collected myself and went to the bathroom. He came in worried, not about my fall and the fact that I possibly broke both my knees, but why I had a glow stick bracelet up my vagina.
have you ever seen a Nuva ring?
I don't think I have seen a Nuva ring.
It does kind of look like a glow stick bracelet, I will say.
What a stupid fucking question from this guy. Are you going, yeah, I just pack it up there for if any raves break out. Want to be ready. It looks like that.
It does kind of look like that.
It can come out?
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's like you put it in,
Okay.
and then you take it out like 3 weeks later, and then you get a period, and the period's done, and then you put it back in.
Ah.
It's like instead of taking a pill.
Instead of the pill, and it's also instead of the other thing.
Like the IUD,
Right.
or like, yeah, just like it's most similar to like the effect of the pill, but just instead of orally eating something,
Right.
you are putting it
Is
up
it
your-
uncomfortable?
No, you can't feel it.
Can't feel
If
it.
you can feel it, you put it in wrong.
Okay. Good to know.
I've used the Nuva ring. I don't know
You
if
have?
anyone, I
Okay,
don't know
we
if
got-
anyone
we got a
can,
Nuva.
can understand from that.
You're not no Nuva newbie.
No, I used to make a lot of ring jokes with the NuvaRing.
Would you like put it on? Like
No,
would you
it has to
spin
stay
around
up
your
there.
finger?
You don't want to take
Oh.
it out too long, or else it's not effective.
Or it doesn't work.
Yeah, so you want to make sure it's in there. But I would say, like, I would imagine the sperm. It's like that movie, The Ring. Like before you die, you see the NuvaRing.
It's the last thing you see.
You ever seen The Ring?
I've seen The Ring. Yeah. I'm just imagining a sperm. No! Swimming towards. Is that the
over.
ring?
It's over. Yeah. But it can come out.
It's over, boys. Just they all die. I'm just imagining.
Everyone go home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Looking at him in disgust, I told him it was my birth control and hopefully didn't need to worry about the fact that a cum-filled condom just got stuck up my vagina. He then told me he had to take the dog outside and that's probably best I leave. She's on the floor, all fours, naked,
Oh my
holding her NuvaRing. It's best you go, whore.
This guy's.
Like, what is wrong with
it
him?
only gets worse.
Right. At this point, I couldn't wait to get out. As I changed in my clothes, I asked where he got the little rascal of a dog. He told me it wasn't his. I looked at him in confusion, asked whose dog it was. He gave me a long look and straight up told me it was his girlfriend's. Needless to say, I never saw or spoke to that guy again. Don't ever fall for a guy in Hoboken. Yeah, not good for the city of Hoboken.
Yeah, not great
Not a
for
good
the
look.
for the residents. It doesn't make you feel like it's a family vibe over there.
No.
I feel like she's got a good case for asking that guy for half of her car situation.
Absolutely.
At least, right?
Venmo.
Right?
He'll
He has a
pay
girlfriend?
whatever.
I think
Girlfriend?
he'll pay. Yeah, I think he will definitely pay.
Right. I think he'll do whatever. The idea. Whose dog is it? It's my girlfriend. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Oops. Like what?
Also, I actually thought it was quite funny that it's the girlfriend's dog who probably has loyalty to the girlfriend.
Absolutely.
And she was like, and the dog was like, "Who is this bitch?"
Right. This isn't my
Right.
owner.
They're like, get out of here. Right.
Yip, 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 yip. Yeah.
If that were my dog, I'd be like, wow, I'm like,
Good on you.
yeah, real loyal, a very loyal dog.
Woman's best friend.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Right.
that's the
You're gonna
name I'm
cheat?
giving it.
You're gonna cheat on me
Right.
with my dog present?
Because when I first read this, I was immediately annoyed at dog people.
He's
Like-
not even a dog person.
Right. He's not even the dog person.
Right.
So because I kept thinking like, I hate when you go over to someone's house, the door opens, yip, 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 dog jumps on. He's like, what'd you think? This was the time he wasn't going to do it? Like
the dog.
the
yeah.
dog, like
Right.
it does this every time.
Also-
So maybe before you open the door, you tie up the dog.
Or don't cheat on your girlfriend.
Well, that too. That's a good
Maybe
point.
don't invite random girls that you met at
Right.
the beach this summer to come
How
over
did he
and have sex with you while your dog's sitting your girlfriend's dog.
Hey, yeah, that's probably
That
a
makes
good
sense
option.
why he was like, after the sex, was like, all right, yeah, I gotta go take the dog out.
What's that glow ring? My girlfriend doesn't have anything like that.
I hate this guy.
Yeah, really not a favorable look for Hoboken.
Yeah,
Turns out I was right.
exactly. Point proven.
Point proven. What are you calling this one?
I called this Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Yeah, that is
Probably
a good
a
name.
more sexual pun to go with it, but
Right.
yeah.
Maddie had Hoboken Horror Story, Noboken, a series of unfortunate events.
That's great.
I have Woman's Best Friend
I like that.
because
Oh, you
that
agree,
dog
right? Yeah.
really came
Had
to
her back.
Right, biting nipples.
That's right. That's like an aggressive move. I felt bad for the dog because the dog now has to watch the owner come back, and he's gonna pretend everything's fine, and the dog knows.
The dog knows.
The dog knows.
I would be
Can't
like,
say anything.
right, and if I was the guy, I'd be like, every time it barked, I'd be like, oh, thank God you don't speak English. You can't even.
It's like, and there's something about Mary
Yeah.
when she's like, the dog will tell you right away if it's a good guy or not.
Right,
And
right.
he like drugs the dog.
Drugs the dog. Yeah. That movie is so fun. I remember, do you remember when you saw that movie the first time?
Such a good movie. I definitely didn't. I think I was so young when I saw that movie that I didn't understand half of the jokes, but I
Right.
still thought it was really funny. And then you
Yes.
watch it again as an adult, and you're like, way funnier.
It is so good. Right. No, I think I remember, so I'm older. I remember watching it at like summer camp. I think that was like a movie we went to. And it was like
Rated R.
crying. People and not even getting half probably the references. Like the idea of putting cum in the hair and it's sticking up. I don't even think that like
It's insane.
it's
Yeah.
insane. What a great
Great. Who's even like Who's been to Santiago, Chile twice in 1 year?
There's so many great lines in that movie.
Yeah.
I met the Fairley Brothers
I think you mentioned this. Where was this?
in Nantucket. I did the Nantucket Comedy Festival, and they always had these, like, I guess, big stars as a part of the festival, and they were there. And we did karaoke in this,
wow.
like, house.
They don't make comedies like that anymore.
No, they don't.
That was a great one.
We just make comedic podcasts that you can share with a friend.
Yes. Rate, review, and subscribe to also.
That's right.
Okay, let's do another one.
Let's do another one.
Hi, J&J. Love everything you do. Jared, after seeing your recent pedicure and nose waxing stories on Instagram, it made me think you might be just the perfect person to help me.
Do you know someone made a reaction video of me getting the nose?
What were they doing?
They're just, I hate reaction videos. I think they're, like, annoying.
Once every, like, 300 times, they're done very well.
Fine.
Very rarely, though.
Very rarely.
Yes.
And there's too many of them. This person's just her shaking her head, looking at me getting my nose waxed. And then
Why is that entertaining, though?
I guess she's a waxer. So, like, she's like, this is done wrong. This is why you go to me. He should be wearing gloves. What's going on? It's just, and I'm like, okay, I do this without tagging me.
Right. Just
Like,
do
I
it
don't
for
need
your
to hear
own
that I did
personal
it the
group.
disgusting way.
Yeah. Right. What did she want from you from that?
For me to look like an idiot, I guess. I don't know. And I hate the political ones where it's just this, like, douchey person in front of a green screen of, like, another video, and they're going, see?
Yeah.
With their shit-eating grin, like, I was right. It's like,
Most of them are like that.
I hate
like
those. Yeah, right. Big facial reaction
Right,
day
yeah.
from Jordana here on YouTube. If you're watching, yeah, that was good.
Okay.
Right. They just always look like the biggest fucking loser. I don't care what side of the political spectrum they're on. I'm not even watching the video. I'm just watching their stupid fucking face. See?
Yeah. If you want to post an interesting take on a video, you can just verbally talk about
Right.
it if it's big enough. That
But they
anyone
don't
has
have
seen
the
it.
skill. They just are going to put up a green screen. But no, thank you to this listener for writing in.
All right. She writes, I've been married for 3 years. My husband and I dated for about a year before getting engaged and did not live together. Once we did, his hygiene or lack thereof came as a bit of a shock to me. Sometimes he only showers once a week. He leaves the house without brushing his teeth. I have to remind him to wash his hands after he goes to the bathroom. He leaves his dirty Q-tips around the house and his toenails. Oh my. He will not get a pedicure with me when I ask him to cut them. And when I ask him to cut them, he says, I am a man.
Oh, God.
Okay. He's a very handsome guy who dresses nice and carries himself well in public, but I find myself not being able to get turned on by him and not wanting to have sex because of these dirty at-home habits. I hate to be a nagging wife. I have called out these things to him, but there's been no change. What else can I do? Should I tell him the lack of sex is because of his hygiene? Am I being too harsh because I'm someone who can't start or end the day without a full routine of cleanliness? I'd appreciate your advice. Doesn't want a dirty dick. Great sign off.
It's a great sign off. It's a great email because I've experienced this in lesser ways. I have a question for you. Which of these things that she points out are the worst of his crimes?
Let's
Leaves
see.
the house without, I mean, showers once a week.
No brushing your teeth. Crazy.
That's
in
the
the
one-
morning, especially, but generally overall, not twice a day is weird.
Right.
Not brushing your teeth when you wake up. Who would ever do that?
That's the one that jumped out to me
That's
the most.
gross.
That would make me
Wouldn't his breath smell
right. I don't
if you never did that?
like not washing his hands after the bathroom. I'll say this, not a big deal to me. I'll be Mr. Disgusting.
Even after a number 2?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Listen, I'm okay. I'll
Now
be
we
the
know-
sacrificial
Oh,
lamb.
Well, thankfully, Jared's not hosting any dinner parties.
I'm not cooking.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just not. It's one of those things where I'd be like, lay off of me.
I wouldn't. Here's the thing. I guess I wouldn't know because, like, how do you even know if someone's washing their?
Well, that's the thing. It's like
How did you find that out?
I was trying to think of like she goes, I hate to be a nagging wife. So I'm like, what one? You have to find your. There's like a choose your battles to this.
Right.
So like if you're like taking a glass and putting it up against the door to hear if the sink went on after he took a shit, that's kind of how it feels when it's like you didn't wash your hands. Like
Fine. Yeah, that one fine.
get rid of that one. Not leaving the house without brushing your teeth to me is like I'm
Gross.
like that's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
The shower once a week. That's another one where it sounds
how
like you
much-
have the clicker in your hand.
Well, that's
counting.
that's like how much are you working? Does he smell?
Right.
I'd focus less on the actions and more on like what are the byproducts.
Right.
So like, does he smell like BO?
That right, because
Like-
when you say I don't want a dirty dick, it's like, how do you know this dick is dirty?
Does the penis smell?
Right.
And again, I
Just
think
next time you go down on him, what is that? Is that a turkey dinner? Your dick smells like gravy. That can't be good. Do you think that's good?
what do you think?
What do you think?
What do you think? Right.
Yeah, I think questions are better than accusations.
Right. Or a noticing of, again, the byproduct.
Right.
If you're like, your breath smells. And if that's your husband, I think you could tell your husband that I would want to be told that my breath smells.
There's nothing more disarming than your breath fucking stinks.
Yeah, I've said that to Mike before.
And
Yeah.
and you feel it. You go,
Yeah.
ooh, how long has this been happening? It's like getting told your fly is down. You're like, how long have I been out here? Who did I speak to?
Yeah.
I think that's the best move in an argument. Like if I was ever in like one of those, like if someone was yelling at me, like in a Karen
Yeah.
situation,
Right.
like if I was a flight attendant and someone's like, you piece of fucking shit, I would just immediately go, your breath really smells.
That is a disarming comment.
Right.
Yes,
That's
right,
like a
yeah.
punch to the jugular.
Right.
You know, and I do think if she said to him, hey, your breath stinks, instead of you never brush your teeth, those are two
Right.
different ways to go about it.
Right.
Because if I was told my breath stinks, I would be like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed, not just for my wife, but for actually
Right.
least of all my wife.
Right. Maybe that's the issue.
Right.
But if she won't have sex with him, maybe that's like the I think that also could be if she's actually turned off by it, I think that's a fair thing to say.
That it's happened to me.
I don't think that's that insulting.
No, I've been told, I think I told the story on the podcast. Like I was really thought the joke of farting was really funny. And I went a little too far. And it was told to me like, hey, I'm like turned off. Like this joke isn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to rein it back. I had to take a little,
Wow.
I had to close that
It's
asshole
been
out.
so hard for you.
Times were tough.
I don't think there's anything wrong with her saying, listen, like next time he tries to have sex with her, listen, like I keep thinking about the fact that you haven't showered since last Tuesday.
Right. I'm not feeling it is a very fair response.
Right. Because that's also like, that's the part that has to do with her.
Right.
Whereas
it's not
he
about
can
him.
be like, okay, this is my body. I'm going to do whatever I want with it or
Right.
not do whatever I want with it. Whereas, again, she's like, okay, well, you can do whatever you want with it, but I'm not really looking to like have sex with it.
Right. And this could grow into other issues. I think that's what people fear the most is like, well, if he's just like, I guess I'm okay with that, then we have other problems that I didn't even know we had. Like, it's not just the
Right.
hygiene, like, which it can be. Every single thing we're written about, it might be more. And I think that's why people don't say anything because they're like, I don't want to find out that there's cockroaches under the rug. Like I saw
Right.
one cockroach. No, I don't
that's
want to
the
find out
issue-
that in this
That's
situation,
the issue
like,
of she didn't live with him until they were engaged.
oh, really?
That's what she said. I've been married for 3 years. My husband and I dated for about a year before getting engaged and did not live together.
Right. I mean, I remember, there were certain things that I was like, I don't know how this is like flossing and getting spray on the mirror. Like that to me wasn't me being disgusting. That was just a natural byproduct of like living in a house.
But I could see why someone would be like, I'm not interested in that.
I could too.
Fine.
But then I guess his response of I'm a man,
That's an annoying response.
so we have to get away from that world.
Yes.
You've realized he's a little immature and that getting a pedicure and a manicure is not seen as manly to him. Someone commented on that on mine. They were like, "Remember when men used to be men?" And I was like,
that's the worst person.
"You
on
fucking
the internet.
yeah, right. You, I feel bad for your children."
Yeah.
But then,
But also, like, what else is he not going to do because he's a man?
well, then you go,
Yeah.
well, and if he's like, "Hey, let's get sexy time," and you're like, "I'm just not feeling it. You haven't brushed your teeth today." He can't go, "Well, I'm a man."
Right.
Right? Like that's the thing. We have to figure out another way in.
And also, here I could see why this would be like an overwhelming amount of habits to change for him.
That's
would
the problem. That's
right.
what I'm talking about with
I
the
would
mirror
start
thing.
one at a time.
Yeah, let's start with brushing our teeth.
Let's start with brushing our teeth twice a day, every day. Let's start with that.
Right. I mean, yeah. And you're not being too harsh. It is interesting that she's doing is just not the way to go. It's like, well, I like a cleanly routine. Your routine has nothing to do with him brushing his teeth in the morning.
But she's kind of like, I'm attracted to people who take care of themselves.
Right.
And
this
that's
is
a fair
unattractive
statement
to me. Yeah.
That's all she can. That's the only argument she has. You yourself do whatever you want, but
Right.
I'm telling you my personal.
I'm turned off.
Right. How it affects me.
What she's going to be surprised by is if he does one of these things, she'll be turned on.
Even just the act of trying.
Right. It's better than
Right,
not.
yeah.
You know what I mean, though? Like she wrote all these things. I don't think he even realizes. Like one effort
Right.
brings them back.
It's also just annoying because as a woman, you do so many of those little like hygiene / just like primping things that are so not expected of the opposite sex. And then like the bar, you know what I mean? The bar is so low that imagine if she was just like, well, I'm not shaving my legs anymore and I'm not showering and I'm not,
right.
I'm not getting haircuts and I'm not putting on makeup because I'm not doing anything. Like it would just be like such a bigger thing, I think.
Right. And he would say, I'm turned off.
Right. And I wouldn't fault him for that either.
Right. Yeah. This is like the big part of moving in. This is like this is the hardest part about moving. The scariest part
right.
is like, oh my God, I don't know who this person, I know them in a certain way. I don't know them this other way.
Right. You should always look out for someone brushing their teeth in the morning before you decide you want to move in with them.
Let's play some games. You ready?
I'm ready. The first one?
Yeah, UUP at Betches.com. Red flag or deal breaker. Hey, J&J. Love the pod, all the things. I just finished a second date with a guy I met on Hinge. We will call him Scott. The date was going well. I was even thinking it might end in a makeout by my car afterwards. Scott had mentioned that he might be meeting a friend later, which was fine because I was planning on going home early because I had work the next morning. Just as the date was winding down, Scott said his friend was there, let's call him Phil, and asked if I wanted to meet him. I said, sure, why not? When I met Phil, we shook hands and I enthusiastically said, hey, it's nice to meet you. You look familiar. Phil didn't respond but kind of smirked, and I shrugged. When my date was walking me to my car, I realized I had matched with his friend on a dating app, so I told him. Scott said, yeah, we know. You kind of ghosted him.
We know.
Right. I was taken aback because he knew I had matched and talked with his friend, yet didn't warn me. I was so embarrassed for saying, you look familiar. I felt blindsided. The whole walk to my car was awkward after that. So red flag or deal breaker. Your date introduces you to a friend that you match with but doesn't tell you. Sincerely, small town dating batch.
Okay. So I think this in itself wouldn't be a deal breaker. Like the idea that you matched with someone's friend and they didn't mention it to you, because I think that happens all the time.
Sure.
I think it's the way that it occurred in this actual scenario that is more of the deal breaker, and the fact that he was like, we know, like, you ghosted him, instead of being like, yeah, he actually mentioned that I think you guys matched at one point, but like,
right.
not a big deal.
No, this is an ambush. This
Right.
is actually like, I hate this person.
Like the way the fact that they matched and he didn't say anything, I don't think that's that weird. If that
Not at all.
was how it went down and she didn't meet the person.
What do you mean?
Like if let's say we were gonna go on a date and you had gone out with one of my friends, and my friend and my friend told me that she had matched with you before, and then I went on the date and I didn't mention that you had matched with my friend. I don't think that would be that weird.
Not a weird thing.
Right.
It's the act of having someone show up,
Right.
knowing that you matched, wanting to see how you would respond. It like you're in their Squid Game or some
Right.
shit, and then ending it with, oh, we
Right.
knew the whole time. I'd be
Yeah.
like,
That would be
fuck
like
off.
if my friend and I were talking about you and the fact that they matched, and then we went, and then and at brunch we were talking all about it, and then you came to meet us at a bar and we were like making fun of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's all annoying. I mean, this happens to me sometimes, and I'm not really up for the game of it. Like, oh, actually, I listened to the whole podcast and like just any form of like gotcha
Sneakiness, right? Yeah.
on a first date. This is proving what
And
they
she's
are
trying to be
all
like
about.
nice. It's also like they just matched on an app. It's not like
Right.
they like hooked up.
Right. And it's like, he could have very well, before he met,
You kind of ghosted him. Again, you can't ghost people on an app.
absolutely not. And why not warn her? Why not make someone feel comfortable? I don't know. This to me annoys me
He's
in a way.
trying to like shame her about it.
Right.
yeah.
It's a little bit like, I don't know if this is even right, gaslighty. It's like a little bit of a power thing. He's getting off to the idea that he knows something you don't. I don't like it at all. I don't know.
He didn't, right. And then she said, when I met Phil, we shook hands and I enthusiastically said, it's nice to meet you. You look familiar. He didn't respond, but kind of smirked. Like, that's just like.
It's all
ridiculous.
shitty. It's
Yeah.
shitty. I would never even see this person
Right.
again. And
But if he just went out with if I knew you went out with my friend and nothing, you guys were just talking on an app and then nothing ever happened, I wouldn't necessarily even think that was worthy enough to tell you. So that part of it, I really don't think is a big deal.
No. These are two different things. And
Right.
it's this element of like, oh, you're trying to see if I was good enough to be better than the thing I did to your friend. There's a little element of like, you're trying to like,
It like cheapens you.
and,
Yeah.
and makes you this judgment of they are in this high perch.
Right. I
And,
agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it at all. Let's do another.
Hi, J&J, longtime listener, first time writing in after being inspired by Jordana's gift certificate to Jared.
I still haven't used it.
It's okay.
I've still,
Have you gone and not used it? Or-
Yes.
Okay. Why? Because you were on a date where you were like, I'm
I
not
wussed
doing
out.
this.
I wussed out hard. Yeah.
Why do you? I feel like you go alone sometimes. Maybe that's
I do-
I won't be. I
I
won't.
do
I,
go
know it was
alone.
intended to bring a date to. I won't be offended though.
No, I want to do it. I want to see the reaction, but I also felt bad. I was like, I don't know. I don't want. Again, it's kind of back to this guy. Like, I don't want to make someone my fucking
Well, there's a big difference
Game.
between that
very big difference.
and what this person does.
Yeah, I can bring it up later. You know what's funny? I wanted
Right.
to see how you'd react, but I guess that is me judging them. I don't know.
I guess. Yeah. Maybe we're assholes.
Right.
It's possible.
It's
it's
a-
possible. Let us know.
Always possible.
Yes. Back in 2019, I went on a date with this guy who told me he wanted to take me somewhere fun and exciting for our second date.
Ooh.
I was already on the fence about him, but I had a rule that I always gave someone a second date because the first one can be impacted by nerves or anxiety.
I hate that rule.
It sounds like a Logan Ury rule, actually.
Really?
I think she's very much about like the spark might build.
I know, but
I wouldn't use it as a blanket thing though. I wouldn't go out with everyone.
no guy is on a second date because he's not sure.
That's true.
So to me, it's a little bit. I don't know. You have to be more protective then.
But men are more thinking with the penis. So
Oh, we are. Ooh, that penis is a lot of thoughts.
okay, he picked me up for the date and told me that we were going to Dave and Buster's to watch Monday Night Football. I'm out. And play arcade games that he had a coupon. And he had a coupon, so it was a great deal. On a Monday night, he had a coupon. No shit.
I mean,
Okay.
she put in quotes, great deal. So he's letting it. I guess no one wants to be told they're going on a great deal of a date.
Ugh.
It's not really sexy, but all right.
I thought that was a little weird for the second date and honestly got the ick at the coupon, but I was hungry and dinner is dinner at the end of the day.
That gives me the ick. I mean, like,
Well, she's
they're
like-
maybe made for each other at that point.
She's like, I'm already dressed. I'm here.
Already dressed is different to me than
Well,
gotta
yeah.
eat.
Again, going back to the primping, it's like
Right.
that's not like I just changed I did my hair,
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
The hair, I understand. When someone says that's something I've come around to.
Done my hair for you.
done my hair for you. The makeup costs money. All these things that like go into making a date.
Exactly.
I do understand the costs associated for a woman
Right.
that don't.
Time and money.
Right.
Here's the red flag or deal breaker. When we were finally ready to go, he went to pay, presented the coupon to the waiter, only to realize that the coupon was expired by like months. Our waiter wouldn't accept the coupon, and my date sat there and tried to argue with them until finally the manager came over to our table and accepted the coupon, probably just to get us to leave. This guy wasn't a match for me, and I never saw him again after this date. But what do you think? Red flag or deal breaker? Thanks, extreme couponer.
Here's the thing about this, and it goes back to like the last red flag or deal breaker. There's a way where this actually works, where it's like, I got this coupon. It reminded me that Monday night they do football, they do wings, they got the games. Like he made a plan. So like at that point, I go, that's a nice thing that someone like was thoughtful enough to want to spend this night with me to explore this deal that's out there. It's the moment they go, the coupon doesn't work and they're angry about it is the moment that I'm turned off.
That's
because
always unpleasant. Watching someone fight with anyone when you're on an early in the game date is like
weird.
Ugh.
Right. Bring the manager.
No, if the manager is coming, I'm leaving.
They said the manager, right. The manager's here, I'm out. We're one or the other. Yeah, that's not a good
You wouldn't
look.
just eat the cost.
Well, I need to speak
right.
to the manager. This coupon should be good. Like
And then you're
that's
sitting there because you're with the asshole, and you have to be like, I'm associated with this person. I have to say also, Dave and Buster's date after like high school, I might be out also.
really.
Yeah, I'm not into a Dave and Buster's date
This is-
as like an adult.
The Dave and Buster's people are very unhappy to hear this.
Are there Dave and Buster's people still?
Well, no, not even people. I think the people that work at their company, I think the company would want to be known as like, here's an adult place where you can get a beer and watch a game and have fun with maybe a date. You're saying that this might not work on women.
No, I would say like it would be a fun date if I was 16.
Right.
But I think
I don't know. I'm saying this, I would assume that they're in meetings. Like
trying to, well, they should sponsor this show because they're not getting it organically.
Right. Come here and let us. Well, also give us a reason. Show
Yeah.
us the space.
Show us why Dave and Buster's is a good date spot.
Right. We need to see this so that we can impart this to the audience to let them know, like, no, this is actually something you would enjoy as a date. But
Yeah.
I can see the associate. You can't tell someone how to feel. So I can't tell you,
Have you-
Dave and Buster's.
Do you like Dave and Buster's?
I don't think I've ever been to a Dave and Buster's,
Oh.
to be perfectly honest. But to me, I know where let's look at it from its most
Fine.
positive point of
Fine.
view. I'm trying to look at it from like the guy's most positive point of view. There's a Dave and Buster's.
With my name on it.
Yeah, right. Like I guess it's like the game's on. We want to go somewhere to watch the game. They got huge TVs. I don't know.
So does she like sports? Does she want
I
to
don't
try to watch
know.
the game? It's a Monday date. I mean,
Right.
I guess you like Monday dates.
I do like a
Maybe
Monday
you
date.
should go to Dave and Buster's for they have a deal.
Right.
On Mondays.
Come on out. We got to bring the coupon.
Is there one in the city?
I think there's one in Harlem. No? Or the Bronx?
Oh, in Times Square?
Times Square?
There's a Dave and Buster's
Yes,
in
there,
Times
there is indeed a Times Square Dave and Buster's, New York City, 42nd Street.
Oh, all of the best things. Times Square,
I got a great
Dave
date
and
idea.
Buster's,
Okay, there's an
coupon.
Olive Garden.
coupon, Monday.
I mean, but in New York, you can also just go to Barcade, which is kind of a similar type of
higher
thing,
Here's
but
why
end.
a little bit
I
nicer.
wouldn't mind Barcade. I would mind Dave and Buster's.
This is the power of marketing. This is because I do Barcade and Dave and Buster's. I do understand. I agree with you.
Right, you get it.
I get it. I'm not saying you are wrong because I understand, but this to me is more marketing than it is the actuality. Barcade, they don't even got they got what? Fucking what's it called? I just
Pinball machines?
Pinball machines.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I don't know. There's more options at Dave and Buster's, but
I just think like the Barcade just feels a little bit more like unique. Like
Right.
they found a spot. As Dave and Buster's is kind of like, again, if someone took me on a date to the Cheesecake Factory in high school, I would be like, cool, awesome, love it. Now,
right.
less interested than like
I
a
hear
spot
you.
with a little more character.
I
Not to be a snob.
No, it's not snobby. It's how does this make me feel? I think when you make a plan, and listen, I've been in that position as a guy when you're like, I got a first date, got to plan a spot. What should we do? And then you start going over the places. What do these places say about me as the planner?
Mm-hmm.
And you are saying something specific about yourself. You're like, okay, I got a coupon. We're going to go to Dave and Buster's. There's an Olive Garden downstairs. Times Square, my favorite neighborhood in
Monday.
the city. Like you've said everything about you.
Right.
You
Not
know?
a match for me.
I listen. I'm out when they bring over the manager. If you bring over the manager,
Yes.
I'm with you.
If you bring over the manager before the 7th date, I'm
Right.
leaving. When do you think you can bring over the manager?
It never.
Never?
No, because part of my list on our
It's pain in the ass.
is
right?
pain in the
yeah.
ass. That's my stomach. Can you hear my stomach growling?
Yeah. Someone's hungry.
Having some issues.
Hurts hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. Pain in the ass. I guess like
What date can they bring over the manager?
they could bring it over date 4.
Okay.
You
Fair.
can switch tables date 3.
Yes.
Hey, this table ain't great. Can we go to a different spot? Yeah, no problem. I wouldn't hold that against you.
Okay.
Date.
That's a good fair. That's fair.
I've been on date 1 where it's like where they don't like the place that you present, and I'm kind of turned off by that.
What do they say?
I've had, hey, how about this spot? Oh, really? I don't know.
The only reason I would say that is if there was like, if you picked a spot where I knew there was going to be absolutely no seating.
Yeah, that's good
Or
feedback.
like we might not get in.
Hey, do you think there'll be seating? But you,
Right.
I think that's the way
that's
to
how
say
you
it.
would phrase it.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, there's always like a line there. There's nothing worse than waiting on a line at a first date.
Hey, nothing worse than getting waiting in a line and also getting turned away from your option that you chose. They're like, hey, we have no room. And now you're like, oh my God, I have a 1 block parameter to find a new place that's just as good as the place I chose.
And now, especially you met on a dating app. Now we're walking around, 2 strangers looking for somewhere to sit down. So awkward.
Leading this miserable parade. You're just leading this woman who's just angry at you. Like, what the fuck? This guy didn't make one fucking plan.
Right, now we're wandering around the West Village looking for some shitty spot that will have room for the 2 of us.
Right, just a bar that we can sit at.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it, Dave and Buster's. They have room here. Yeah, I've been that guy. Oh, it feels awful. And you know she's behind you going, what the fuck?
We're just getting me angrier every minute that passes.
Right, every minute.
That's me, yeah. That would be me. Sounds fun.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Hi, J&J. Love the pod. I matched with a guy on Hinge. We eventually got around to the whole what are you looking for part of the conversation. I think a Hinge conversation is going badly if you're talking about what are we looking for.
But given their ages, I actually feel like this may be less weird. 52
and 42.
Yes.
So I
still weird, I agree, but less so than.
I'm with you.
Do you know what I mean? They're like cutting all the shit at this age.
She's 42. Yeah. He's 52. She's like, so what's going on here? I could understand. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But if they were like 27 and 29, I'd be like, that's not, this isn't going well.
Right. It's already gone bad if you're wondering what they're looking for. Okay. So what are you looking for part of the conversation? He said a breast friend. I thought maybe that was a typo, but he doubled down on it. I've never heard that, and it gave me the icks. For reference, he's 52 and I'm 42. Screenshots attached. Okay, thanks for all you do. Watch out for booby traps. So we had the screenshots were blurry.
She wrote a transcript.
What a 42-year-old thing. couldn't figure out how to screenshot.
Sorry.
Couldn't resist.
That's good.
So
all right, so you'll be him and I'll be her.
A breast friend.
So
it starts
she
with
says, what are you looking for?
A breast friend. A female best friend to explore life with. Open, clear communication. Smart, fun, takes care of herself. Great intimacy. Morning cuddles. Naked coffee in bed.
Ooh. Breast friend? Thought that maybe that was a typo. Never heard that one.
I've done everything I ever want to do with my guy friends. I'm done with a guy as my best friend. Second half, I want a great girlfriend to do everything with.
Where I don't understand why she means that he doubled down. I think he just like didn't understand what she was talking about.
Right. I guess a breast friend thought maybe that was a typo. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he almost kind of like ignores that.
He ignored
that statement, right?
I guess he doubled down in the fact that he went to he gave it another definition. It's just like breast friend thought that was a typo. Never heard that one. And then he's going on.
I think he's just not noticing that she wrote breast instead of best.
Oh, I think he wrote breast friend on purpose.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, it's like it's cheesy as fuck.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that before either. Like it's the cheesiest thing. Like to me, this guy's a nerd loser. like the way he's talking, you're like, I get what he's saying. Everything minus breast friend is actually pretty good answer to that. Like if he had stopped at, yeah, I'm looking for a female best friend to explore life with, open, clear communication, smart, fun, takes care of herself, great intimacy, morning cuddles, naked and coffee in bed. If he stopped at that and he's like, what? And if he had just said like, kind of what everyone's looking for, I think, right? And then she was like, oh yeah, I guess those are things I'm, because he's speaking in vague terms. Like no one's going to be like, naked coffee in bed, I got to wear my underwear. Like if you're disagreeable to that, like you're not really being this fun person, but it almost strikes me as he's being this like kind of liar.
I don't understand how.
How he is?
Because you think he meant to say breast friend.
I do.
Because he says best friend after that.
No, but he goes, so she goes, what are you looking for? He writes, a breast friend. Okay. And then he writes a female best friend.
Oh, he's trying to define that.
Now
you're
he's
saying.
defining that. He goes. So then he goes a breast friend. This is the dumbest fucking person I've ever seen in dating. Like, and he's 52.
Maybe that's why he's
Obviously, he has all male best friends. That none of them told him he sounds like an idiot. So
he's saying a breast friend is a female best friend.
So he's now defining a female best friend to explore life with, open, clear communication, smart, fun, takes care of herself, morning cuddles, naked guy. And then she goes, a breast friend, thought that might have been a typo, never heard that one. And now he's re-explaining, well, I've done everything I've ever wanted to do with my guy friends. I'm done with a guy as my best friend. Second half, I want a great girlfriend to do everything with, i.e., and he doesn't write this, a breast friend.
Okay. So you're right. I get.
To me, this is my interpretation.
All right, you're
Maybe
right.
I'm
No,
wrong, but
no, it seems like you're right that he's calling it a breast friend.
right. And his definition of that is the idea that I'm done with male best friends. Second half, I'm changing things up. That's a loser. I don't know what he's talking
Yeah, this
about.
is very weird phrasing of this thing.
The idea that you're like putting your male best friends on the shelf to now play with the new breast friends is fucking weird.
Also, like, at least if he was gonna do that, at least make it a little jokey.
Right.
Like,
or have some self-deprecation to it. You
Right.
sound like an idiot.
Right. I know it's cheesy, but
Right.
or like LOL somewhere.
Right.
I'm just kind of. That's why I was kind of like, I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
He's legitimately defining the thing he just made up.
Oh, yeah. This guy's like a cheesy loser. You're
He's
right.
some would describe him, not a word that I've used a lot in my life, as a chooch.
Chooch. What is that?
I don't know. Do we have an urban dictionary of a chooch?
Spell it.
CHOOCH.
Chooch.
A stupid person, a meathead.
Okay.
Italian slang.
Is Italian
Oh, did you
slang?
just insult the Italian
Sorry. Sorry, my paisanos. No, he just sounds like a cheesy loser. I don't know. It's like, I get what he's saying.
No judgment, though.
No judgment.
Is he a dad?
He's 52. It sounds like he's never been married in his life. I honestly, like, this sounds like,
Yeah, that's weird.
it just sounds so cleanly defined.
He's been using it for a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
He's thought about this. That's what that's the part that's loserish to me. He's put thought into this. Well, I'm done with the male best friends. I'm 52. Time to grow up. And it's like, you're 50 fucking two.
Right.
Like,
Even if he said the joke and then he was like at the end, a breast friend, if you will. Like as like almost like a little cheesy thing at the end that would be less bad than like the way he's presented it.
I totally agree with you. There's a way to. He's missed. There's something.
He
missing
didn't make
here.
it cute. He made it weird.
No, he made it weird.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. We're out on him.
We're out.
We did it. And we're out
Yeah.
on the show because it's over.
And if you're out there, I'm looking for my breast friend.
Can you use it just to see how it goes over?
I'll use it.
Okay.
Oh, I'll write back to that girl that the one I
New
reopened.
Year, just looking for a breast friend.
A what? Someone to cuddle with, to drink coffee naked. It's just so weird. The way he said it was like so seriously said. Right, you're right.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was kind of like, oh, maybe it was just a typo. Because if it's like kind of cute, if he's like, I'm looking for a best friend,
Right.
but the fact that he's named it is weird.
No, fair lady. I'm looking for a breast friend. A female best friend to explore life with, open, clear communication. Smart, fun, takes care of herself, great intimacy. She must have breasts, though,
Clearly.
to be a breast friend.
All right.
All right, well,
That's it for us.
we solved dating again. People, if you're listening right now, like if you're listening right now, you're a fan of this fucking show.
You've listened to the whole show.
You've listened to the whole show. What I need you to do
And
is
this is a long show.
this is a long one. Make it your Instagram story. Let friends know. Get them involved.
And also rate, review, and subscribe because as you know,
Yes.
I'm reading all of it.
She's watching.
I am. Got eyes everywhere.
All right.
Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow at u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.